Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bigfoot, and welcome back to some transport fever here in the White Valley. In today's episode, we're starting off in the very dense, actually, I guess you could say, town of Coburn, because we have gone ahead and, if you watched the last episode, a lot of this will make sense. We're working on a mega rail project right now, which connects up, and part of it ends in Coburn, and I ended the last episode with a real logistical challenge. I needed to make a railway line which went from here all the way to Hetton over in all that mess over there, and we've managed to achieve it, and it's a really beautiful line. It goes around the mountain. As we can see, it's so beautiful, it really is. I do realise frame issues are a bit of a problem right now, not at all sure why, but as we can see, it's a really nice line. Comes right round by the airport and then just gradually comes down the hill, not too much of it underground. I really like this section here actually, and when we get a train onto it, I do want to go into first person with some of the trains because I think it would be really nice. Coming right along here as we come by Hetton with the reflection on the lake, and then this is going to come down to what is this super project. This is the Hetton River Junction train station. We've got the connection which you seen me build last time up into Hetton Bayside, and then from here it's going to continue down the river, and we're going to land up at the Newton Abbot River Junction, as we can see here. Then we've got a Thaxted branch which goes over to Thaxted, and then the Newton Abbot branch which stops in at the airport here, which is quite ideal. And as we can see, we've got quite a few people waiting to go to Portishead, which is very good. We're going to touch on planes, of course, today, being a major project over the last few episodes, and then we go ahead and terminate in at the extended, I guess larger now, Newton Abbot station. Okay, so where do we start this episode? Oddly, we're not going to start on all of this. We really will get to it, but before I forget anything, we did change Coburn Station, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. So as we can see here, we have got 3 platforms, but I talked in the last episode and the previous episode before that, so episodes 36 and 37, really about breaking up trains, and that's what I want to go ahead and do here. Some trains are just a little bit too busy, and as we can see here, this town isn't too bad, Coburn, but the line which this serves goes from Maidstone here, which Maidstone is a bit chock-a-block as it is anyway, as we can see 164 people waiting. Then we stop now at the airport as well. In general, there's not a lot of people coming in here. There seems to be a lot of people going out, but not a lot coming in. Then we've got a fair amount of people waiting here, and then Kendal can be quite busy as well. It really depends. As we can see right now, we're up to quite a few, so I'm going to break this line in half from Kendal to Maidstone. Going to have the Maidstone to Coburn and Coburn to Kendal. This is really just going to go ahead, and I very much like having long lines with lots of stops, but with regards to the passenger numbers we have and the imbalance, I need to start doing from station to station trains, because it's just, I wouldn't say it's unprofitable, but it's inefficient. There is major efficiency problems, and I can carry much more passengers. As we can see, the rate and the profit is really good here, but I think we can do just that little bit better, and that is what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the game. Kendal Maidstone is going to change, and it's going to become Coburn Maidstone. And then this is going to go ahead and get rid of the Kendal station. So that's not Conburn, this is Coburn, like so. So that's Coburn to Maidstone, and that's now in. Now we're going to get rid of Kendal and then Coburn. Well, we can't go from Coburn to Coburn. So there we go. So that's going to run into this platform here, though you're not actually. You're going to run into platform 2 here at the station. So as we can see, I've already even set up the junctions. I've been very productive in between this and the last episode. A lot happened, to be fair, a lot happened, which is good. It means that I can go ahead and not waste as much time getting into this episode. Then what we're going to do from Coburn here, just down to Kendal, there is going to be a second line, which as we can see here is now going to be the T, and this is going to be Coburn to Kendal. So a separate route. Now the next thing I need to do is go ahead and change the train assignment, because this is very important. So there's 1 train here, 2 trains here, and then that I believe is it, which is perfect. So if we go ahead and assign these 2 to the new blue line, the T Coburn Kendal, then that will go ahead and run really easily. So those are the only 2 trains on that section of the track, and then there should be 1 here, which there is. So you're going to just stay on this part of the track. There's also another one. You're going to stay on the Coburn to Maidstone. That's what I mean by this part of the track. And then there should be a third in the station here, which there is, which is perfect. So we're going to keep 3 Stadler flirts in this section from here in Maidstone to Coburn, and then we'll keep 2 on the stretch from Coburn to Kendal. I think that should be okay going forward. So we can go ahead and run the game and let that be. I do want to touch on the planes before we go back down to our mega project. Right now on the MC Portishead, which is from here, I'm doing some upgrades. There's 29 people waiting here, which is a lot. And then additionally as well, if we actually come up to Portishead, it's crazy how many people are waiting on various different flights. This is a busy airport, don't get me wrong, but things are slowly but surely getting underway. Why are... It feels like the game's still paused. The game's not paused, the airport is just shitting itself. This airport's not operating, that's probably the reason why, and I've not realised this. Right, you're gonna get assigned to some different route, that's for sure. You can just go into Doncaster Portishead. I can't have you holding everything up though. That's why there's such a build up here, so maybe the planes aren't as successful as I was hoping for. But all in all, I am more optimistic with the changes I have made in the sky. That is one thing. Right, this train definitely needs an upgrade. The Bawtry to Chorley is going to jump up to Stadler Flirts as well, just based on the amount of people over here at Crowland. Not touching it since we really introduced this town, and it has grown quite drastically. Because I remember when we touched this town, probably going back now to about episode 23, 24, it was just a 1 street. Literally, it was 2 streets I guess, but this was really it, whereas the tram now could be expanded quite some bits. Let me go ahead and upgrade this though. So this is the T Bawtry Chorley. Interestingly, yeah, right, that's okay. So you've got 144-seater trains on there right now. Gonna upgrade to Stadler Flirts at a massive capacity of... What do they have? 225 seats all in all. So it is going to be some jump, but I very much do think it is needed. With the amount of trains we got on here, we got 5 trains. So I think 5 trains is a good amount to have. And then with this addition, it's going to add in 500 extra seats. I think it should do quite well all in all. As we can see here, too many people waiting here, but hopefully that should slowly but surely start to go ahead and clear. There's going to be a train upgrades. Let me just see, I'm always curious when trains do upgrade, because they never seem to fill up straight away. It is very odd, and same with this one here. So that's upgraded, but you're only taking 50 passengers away. Don't really understand that one. Then you have emptied, you've upgraded, and you're only taking 58 passengers away, yet there's lots of people still waiting. Arguably not too many in the Portishead, but a lot more could have gone on that train to Chorley, I'll tell you that. I don't understand that logic. I'm not at all sure if it's a glitch or whatnot, but we're going to go ahead now and turn our attention over to here. While we're at it though, I do actually want to check on what is doing well and what is not doing well. We've got 4 air routes in the profit right now, which is really good to see. That's a much better improvement. Oddly, it's the HB to Kendal which is now doing the best. I really don't understand how, but it is, so I'm not going to complain. And then it looks like we are starting to maybe... There's not really another one that's going to break into the scene just yet, which is kind of unfortunate. This MC Portishead I'm expecting to do good when the planes do start to upgrade, but again, things are all in the sky right now, so they will upgrade hopefully quite shortly, but I am quite optimistic for that route as well. Okay, so it's time to go ahead and start building some of these new train lines in and around the Hetton River, Hetton Newton Abbot River I guess I'm really calling this railway. It is the Riverside Project. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is we're actually going to go ahead and create some of the lines. So from Hetton Bayside into Hetton River Junction, we're going to go ahead and... I actually named this station because I knew if I didn't go ahead and name it something, I'd always be going like, oh, that train station near Hetton, which is by the river. I thought I'd just name it, go ahead and clear things up. So this is the Hetton River Junction, remember that going forwards. This is from Hetton Bayside to River Junction is what you are. So it's 2 stations essentially in one line, but it is slightly, or it's 2 stations in the same town, but they're not in the same town, but they're named after the same town, if that makes any sense. This one will be much easier though, so from the Hetton River Junction up into Coburn, things should hopefully go ahead and be slightly easier. Though, I am unsure how fast the trains. I'm a bit worried, and also about the station, because just with the changes we've made, I'm not really seeing much passenger difference, which is a real shame. But again, we'll come back to that later once things have settled down, you know. So this is going to be, it's just realistic. This is only Hetton to Coburn. This is what this is. Coburn to Hetton is what it is. Generally, I'm classifying Hetton Riverside as a train station of Hetton. Hence why it's got the name Hetton in it. So with those two lines created, those are probably the two most important. I've got the lines signalled up. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put these trains on the tracks, because these are the ones which are needed faster, just because a lot of people don't really want to go down the river, but just want to go between these two towns now. So we need to go ahead and allow for that to happen. Now, what am I going to do with regard to trains? I think there's going to be a real high demand based on the buses, a real high demand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with Stadler Flirts. I'm going to be very optimistic here and go for pre-building. Going to pre-build and really go for these. So many routes are now turning into Stadler Flirts, and I do understand that. But Stadler Flirts are the most efficient train, and I'm also starting in my head to go along the lines of my latest Airline Tycoon series, where I was like, okay, I would like all my trains to pretty much be by the same manufacturer, and Stadler seems to be really the leader. We're also still running the diesel French national trains, the SCNFs, I believe, as well on some routes. But outside of that, we are just going ahead and starting to go and really work on the efficiency. That's the stage we're at in this game. So I'm going to add 3 Stadler Flirts onto there. Now I'm going to add, no, I've added 2 onto the Hetton side, sorry. I'm going to add 3 onto the Coburn side though, just because it's a much longer distance. So the train will take naturally longer to go ahead and get up from Coburn here to the, well, from this station here at Hetton to Coburn is what I'm trying to say. So those 2 are good to go, and now hopefully we should start to see a bit of change there, which is good. Okay, we need to go ahead, and that's an issue we need to sort out. There's a lot of goods that I've purposely not focused on this area in a long time just because I wanted to go ahead and focus on some other areas, but we will need to come back to this area, and Hampstead for that matter, quite shortly, because since I last did the trams, this whole new suburb has spawned in really, so I think I do need to go ahead and give that some TLC. This station, G-Hetton Planks, needs another train. That is really the bottom line. Is this definitely a 320 meter station? It is, amazingly. So I'm just a bit disappointed, to be honest. That is what I am. Oddly, you're on the wrong track. You shouldn't be there. And I don't know why you are on that track, to be honest, because you're just waiting for free path because you're now stuck behind other trains. Is it because you can't get onto your track? I think that's the honest answer here, yeah. So again, there's still a bit of this inefficiency, which I've somehow not noticed. So we're going to run you from there over to there. So you should now hopefully jump over onto your correct track, if I'm right in saying. Yeah, you are, which is good. Right, okay, so that's maybe why the Planks route still isn't doing that much better. I feel when I went ahead and added this, it should have gone ahead and really dealt with all of these inefficiencies, but for some reason that route didn't get flagged up, and I'm not at all sure why. Usually that would come up in as a warning, but it hasn't for some reason. But I'm hoping now that that means that these trains will not get stuck behind each other as much, because it is a very short line to have 4 trains of the same type going ahead and running back and forth. It is very crazy. And as we can see, this station is crazily busy here. Anyway, that is not for me to discuss at this current moment in time. We're focusing down here. So there should be now movement coming into here, which is good. I'm excited about that. We now need to go ahead and expand, and we need to go down the river and then replace the buses. I'm expecting the bus demand to drop a little bit, but it all really comes with 2 people now waiting here. So I mean, there's going to be knock-on effects on trams, on lots of different infrastructure things here. But as we can see, there's already some people waiting to jump from one train service to the other. Okay, so the next line we're going to build is from here, the Hetton River Junction down to the Newton Abbot River Junction. Again, quite basic names. This is just going to be the river train, the Riviera train, if you want to call it that. It's not really going from any town necessarily, but it's going ahead and just providing the river with some adequate service, which is fine. Then what I want to do, let's go ahead and put that back to line there. Then from the Newton Abbot station, we're going to go to the Newton Abbot... From the Newton Abbot River Station, we're going to the Newton Abbot Airport Station, then we're going into the Newton Abbot Town Station, and then we're going to return to the Newton Abbot Airport Station. Whoa, can I get a round of applause, please? That deserves a like. Whoa, that was a tongue full of wow. Right, okay, so this is going to be, it's Newton River to Newton Town is what it is, really. Newton Town. I know what I mean by these, but will I remember these names? That's the real question. And then finally what we need to go ahead and do is link up Thax. This is Thax's first ever railway line, which is exciting. So this will run, and this is just going to be quite simple. It's going to be Newton River Thaxed, which is nice and simple. Right, okay, so that's those lines created. As we can see, this place is so busy. I'm really going to be glad to go ahead and just get rid of this anyway, get things on the go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do 2 drain depots pretty much back to back for this section. So let me go ahead and have a bit of a branch line come out the back here, and then have you merge into there, and then we're going to have the other depot here as well. So these guys pretty much back onto each other, which is exciting. Okay, so let's go ahead and rotate you. Let me guess, I'm not going to be able to get these in behind each other because I didn't make the junction sharp enough. That's a little bit frustrating. Let me go ahead and move this up a bit, and let's go ahead and fit you in there. Again, I'm going to prepare for the future here. It's going to be Stadler Flirts. I'm expecting high demand. I built for the future here. So again, we're going to go ahead and accommodate with some nice large trains. 1, 2, 3 between here on the river train, just because I expect this part to probably be the busiest part. Then I'm going to only have 2 go to Thaxed, and 2... No, we'll have 3 go to Newton Abbot, just because there's an extra stop in there. Though, I mean, I don't know if these could yield... No, let's just go for it. Come on, let's commit. Let's commit. The thing is, we have the money as well. These trains are 36 million each, but I do think it is worth it. So Thax is getting 2. So this is Newton River to Thax, so you're good to go. And then finally we're going to get 2 more trains on here. We're going to go for electrical. Let's do, I mean, let's put it this way, Stadler Flirt, if you're like, if we're actually taking this game more seriously and thinking about more trading levels, you'd place a contract with Stadler, and they'd go ahead and give us, we'd order like maybe 100 of these trains, and then we'd assign them out across the network. That's really what we are doing here. And very much you do find that with a lot of franchises, especially in the UK. Don't really understand, or know for that matter, it's not that I don't understand, but I just don't know a lot about other railway networks in other countries. I don't know if they are franchise based. I know some must be, because, for example, it's, what is it? It's not Govia Thameslink these days, it's not First. Yeah, it's Govia Thameslink, that I think is a foreign company. Then Abellio ScotRail. Abellio is from the Netherlands, I want to say, so though I don't know if that's a national carrier or whatnot, or how things work, so I'm a little bit unsure there. Anyway, let's focus. So let's go ahead and get some trains on the Newton River, and that is this project complete. So we're not going to delete the buses straight away though, that's very important. The reason that I need to go ahead and leave the buses is because I can't leave all these people stranded here. That is one important thing to note. So what I will do is I will go ahead and get rid of the buses that go in between these two, and then gradually I'll go ahead and phase out other buses. That's really all I want to do here. So let's go ahead and get rid of this route that goes in between the two. I mean, I'll give it a bit of time, to be fair. We should probably let the game speed up a little bit and start to really have a bit of build up at all stations. We're starting to get a bit of build up here. We're getting 10 people wanting to go down the river into here, which is exciting. And then we're starting to see quite a bit of movement here. This will become a very busy station, and I am very excited for when it gets to that stage. Though until it does, I think that we should go ahead and focus on something else. I think we need to... I mean, there's a lot of instant things that need our attention, that is for sure. Though I am looking over here and seeing lots of foods. which is good. Finally, production is picked up here. Wowee. Absolutely crazy, huh? So I definitely need to go ahead and ship some more stuff. Also food as well. So this train's obviously finally coming up the hill full, which is good. So I'm happy to go ahead and double this up going forward. I do want to go ahead and sort out this terraforming. It's not an issue, it's just a major eyesore to be honest. And also this one over here while we're at it. Right, so things look much neater now as we can see. Come along and tidy that up there. And then right down into here as well. So that line looks so much better. Right, okay, so currently right now we've got a train which is doing not too bad. I think it's a class 3-7 on the front, so we're going to go ahead and keep with that. I do realise I do need to double up the track, so I'll build the train, then we'll double up the track. We'll go for it, look like a BR class 37 in British Rail Blue, which is, that's what the BR stands for. Then with regards to the amount of wagons, let's have a think about this. So we have cow wagons, which are the box cars, if I'm right, yes. Now if there's 144, that means there's 8 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no. Let's get rid of 1. And then, well actually we can have a wee bit of 9 here, and then we can go for grain, we can go for 11, so it's a wee bit more balanced. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Which works out though, I mean, are those the best things to carry grain here? It looks maybe like it, unfortunately. Yeah, you are. I can't go ahead and use these Tag Schnip, Swiss Sugar, or any of those because they crashed. They crashed my game the last time, which wasn't ideal. And I can't carry grain in box cars or state cars. So that is the best we can really do at this current stage. Okay, so that is now built, which is good. Now what we can go ahead and do is... that looks hideous there. What we're going to do is we're going to expand that there, and then we're going to expand you into what they're like so. That looks a tiny bit better. Then we can go ahead and double up this line signal up. I mean, this is a long-term plan, but we just never really got much demand going at all on this route, and I'm really not at all sure why that was for such a long time. But now all of a sudden we have some decent demand, which is good, and we can go ahead and start to move goods via this way. So let's go ahead, and I actually want to let that train go into the station first of all. Let me close that for the time being, and let's go ahead and jump at a line manager as well. Let's jump into here, let's go and slow this game down a tiny bit, and let's go ahead and get some signals on the go on this line. I'm gonna put the signals quite close together just because this is quite a uphill stretch, and I realise the trains can move quite slow. Whereas the downhill train is going to catch up very, very quickly. It's probably going to take about maybe twice the time to get up the hill than it will down the hill. So it's quite important, I think, that we go ahead and add in lots of signals here. So we can go ahead and allow for quite an efficient service. Right, so that's the track doubled up. And that is correct, which is good. So we can go ahead and now release this train. So this is going to be the, G Goldmine Livestock. So this train is good to go, and that should start to go ahead and clear this mass. This is desperately crashing here, as you can see, but mass overcrowding. Then there's a knock-on effect to that as well, of course, with food. So we need to go ahead and ship more food around. That's quite easy to do though, just need to make sure we're quite strict on what we assign into the trucks, just based on previous problems. Okay, so I actually need to double check what routes have what trucks. So we'll start with the G Fordwich. These are using white, it looks like DB Schnecker? That could be right, DB Schnecker? Deutsche Bahn or Deutsch... Yeah, I think it is the Deutsche Bahn logo in red there. And then, so it must be like German rail, and then I don't know what that Schnecker word means. I could guess it maybe means lorry or transport or something like that, but German rail anyway is Deutsche Bahn. That's quite a self-explanatory one though. Let's add 1, 2, 3, let's go ahead and increase the fleet by a whopping 50%. So that should hopefully go ahead and have some effect. That is probably the biggest build up, and then also the Thax food as well. Thax food uses the slightly different, more retro box cars, and Thax is a wee bit further away as well. I think it uses the F12, yeah, F12 boxes. Right, so we'll add 4 of these on to this route, which will serve Thax that little bit better. And then that should hopefully go ahead and clear a lot of this backlog, which has probably been causing everything to fluctuate and drop and increase. So this is going to be G, this is Thax, and this is food. So that should hopefully go ahead and have some effect. As we can see, this area is very busy right now, but understandable with just the amount of goods being shipped around. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is actually want to... Ooh, Kendall's very busy. 31 people want to go on HB to Kendall. Sort of going to jump in here quite a lot. I'm very curious about the planes right now. HB Kendall, yeah, you're already doing extremely well. I think it's maybe time for an upgrade on you based on the amazing efforts, or not efforts, but amazing results on the planes, eh? Seeing some very good results indeed here. Right, let's go for Lufthansa's. So increasing the seat capacity here by a whopping 11, which is good, and I think they roughly go the same speed as the Yaks. I mean, the Yaks are good and reliable planes, and I'm quite happy with them. We did upgrade this route, but you're only every 9 minutes, which is the problem. So I think the issue here is frequency. It's not actually to do with anything else. So where does the plane go from? Why does it take that long? What route is it again? Sorry, it's the MC, so this airport here to Portishead. How does that take 9 minutes? Because I'm thinking, do we not have a Portishead to Doncaster on here? Doncaster, Portishead, yeah we do, and that's every 3 minutes. So I've got a feeling that, I mean obviously Doncaster's further away, unless I've done something stupid here. But I don't believe I have. So that's really strange, isn't it? Very strange indeed. And I don't really know what to say on that matter, because it shouldn't be that high a frequency, it should be much lower. Much more closer to probably the standard 3 minutes, which near enough universally we've got throughout. Very good money here now. This is probably the best money we've ever had from planes, so I'm very happy about these numbers. We're starting to get a little bit better on some of the other ones as well. Doncaster to Hetton. It's nice to see Hetton actually getting some connection, which is good. It's not quite good enough yet though, but again we'll go ahead and continue to improve stuff and see where things go. How busy is this tram coming down to the airport for that matter? Got 10 people on it, so not too bad, but it's making sure we have enough room on these infrastructure things which serve airports to make sure people can get to airports. That's the important thing. Right, okay, so given this a bit of time, starting to see people move away from the bus, which is good. So what I can do straight away, I can delete 2 bus routes, and then we can go ahead and really just see what happens from there. So we're into road vehicles, let's go by alphabetical order. This is one of the routes we can get rid of straight away, because there's already adequate bus line, and then we can go ahead and get rid of this here from Hetton to Newton and Thaxted as well. All of a sudden though, I think everyone needs to use that bus route, so we'll wait till this clears out, and then we'll go ahead and just push everyone this way. But that should make some difference now. I'm expecting very high numbers now going to Coburn and Maidstone, or not Maidstone, Hetton at Bayside Station. I'm quite excited for this. And hopefully, I mean it's only 9 right now, so I mean things will change, but it's also going to be very, quite changing on the trams as well. As we can see, tram numbers have gone up, but this should also mean a lot less traffic around here. After a while, there's going to be a lot of buses coming in. We have a depot roundabout here, do we not? Or we did. Yeah, there's a depot here, so I can imagine a lot of buses are going to be coming around these streets right now and returning and selling up in this depot, which is fine. But as we can see here, this has put a lot more demands on the tram, and that's not good at all. In the slightest, in fact, so that needs to change. I also need to get rid of the B, Hetton, Newton, Thax, actually quicker. I'm just going to do it now. Whatever happens to the passengers happens to the passengers. So you're going to go as well. This has put so much pressure onto the tram though, which I need to go ahead and address. So we're in the town of Hetton here, and this should be the Hetton one. Already got a lot of trams, but we're going to introduce 2 more onto here, just because the frequency actually isn't that great, to be honest. I think it probably gets stuck in a lot of traffic, in all honesty. But I think that we should go ahead and increase it for the time being. So the tram depot's right down by the water. It's two of these really nice Munich trams I like, actually. I think they're the only city in this map which currently runs these. So let's put 2 more trams onto the Hessen one. That reduces frequency down to about 70 seconds, 1 minute 10, which is much more ideal. I like that much more. And then hopefully, these trams are amazingly busy, but I'm expecting an influx just because we're obviously got a new route in here now. As we can see, this train is filling up quite a lot more than it once was, and we're all the way at 68 passengers, just about 70. That's only going to get busier now we've gone ahead and removed the bus routes. Right, okay, has this place started to clear out yet? Because you've only got 2 bus routes on you right now. I suppose, do all the passengers just automatically disappear from bus stations? They do, which is good. Yeah, no, that tram, I wish I could just get rid of that tram, but I can't get rid of that tram. You can't just delete vehicles, and I understand why, it's quite a logical thing, but I just cannot save that tram. Do note as well, if you have left a comment, I am actually just back from America. This is episode, 38, so I got back from America on the 27th of August, so I'm very much just taking a bit of time just to re-see everyone, and then I'm getting back into it, so any feedback you've given me will be integrated very, very shortly. Anyway, finally what we need to do now, we're starting to see people wait here, which is good, so all I need to do now is go ahead and close these final 2 routes. So the revival of the bus, it was good for the time being, but the bus just sort of... It happens with buses, it honestly really does. Things just get a bit too busy, and then they just run their life, really. They just, they have a certain time period, a certain duration, and I guess they've just... They served well, they have served very well, but it's time for them to go ahead and move on. So, I mean, that was a great project, don't get me wrong, and I'm very thankful for it. But that is it, that is that bus project all over. Though that's been replaced by a very new river train project, which is also very, very exciting indeed. And I'm excited to get a lot more passengers moving around everywhere. Okay, so 2 on there, and 4 on there, so not too bad numbers. We've got some people waiting here, quite a few people coming in here it looks like actually. And I'm expecting more with the train. This should hopefully be... Should bring, if it brings 1 or 2 passengers, maybe 3 or 4 people I've got off that train. I am expecting air travel to pick up now as time goes on. It's also crazy not seeing a bus stop here anymore, it really is. How's Thax doing? Because I think we need to modify, now we need to build a tram in Thax. That is very important, I think, to the Thax infrastructure, just because there's still a bus that comes in from Kendall, and I think there's a bus from Goldmine, but outside of that, there is no real public transport right now, which I need to go ahead and resolve that issue. So let's go ahead and see what we can really do here. Thax has grown quite large, but I didn't really mean it to grow large, but it just sort of happens, especially when you go ahead and jump around and focus on lots of different projects at different times. And now it's at the stage where it's really fallen behind its infrastructure, so the infrastructure definitely needs a good upgrade. So this is what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and have a branch which goes off to that side. The train station's going to be in the middle, and then we're going to go ahead and make our way up through the rest of the town here. So we're going to come right through the middle here, and then we're going to terminate up at the top of the town here. If this game bloody lets me, but some roads are just being a little bit frustrating, as they usually are. I mean, this is a stagger junction, which is something I don't really want, and there isn't too much slope here. Where's the slope? Tell me where the slope is, huh? Tell me. Right, anyway, let's go ahead and build that to there. I don't think it's this crossroads. It might be this crossroads, but I don't even think that is either. Right, okay, so that's that change made. And now we can go ahead and start working on the tram building itself. Okay, so I just want to downgrade this bit here actually, to be honest, but I can't even do that. Construction not possible. Alright, okay, so that works, that's fine. Right, okay, so we need stops now, that's what we need. Some of these stops will overlap with bus stops, which is a good and bad idea. It will give some benefits in that it will allow for people to interchange from different transport types. That is one good benefit. But outside of that, it can also cause traffic problems, but I'm quite optimistic here going forward. Right, this is going to be our train station stop. We're going to have a few stops around about here, down by the docks, and then we've got the 2 stops around about here, so we're pretty much good to go, and as you can see, there'll be quite a bit of overlap going forwards. Alright, let's create this line. Let's go into here. Let's start off at Chester Road, then we're going to come round to Windsor Road, then we're going to come down to London Road, High Street, into the Green, into Park Road, up to George Street, then into the very busy Queen Street, and then we're going to loop around, and that is it pretty much good to return, which is good. If I go ahead and hit that button, add stations, oh, that's an information tag. I never noticed that was there. I know there's a button which you can go ahead and like return on the route you came, and I can't remember what that button is. I swear they added it in quite recently, or not recently, but someone did tell me about it, and I did use it in previous series, but I suppose when you have turning circles it wouldn't really work. I really like having turning circles, but it wouldn't directly work. I can't remember how you do it though. If you like double click on the current station or something like that. Anyway, we'll go ahead and ignore that for now. Right, so that's that built, so you can really get a gauge now for the town's infrastructure. As you can see, ignore the dark green line, that's a truck route. And there's two, for God's sake, there's two light green routes which come into here. One of them's a bus, but as you can see, this tram comes round to parts of town that really don't get served that well, to be honest. And it links up with other transports, which is exciting. Well, or before I go ahead and actually add on trams here, just going to go ahead and tidy up a few redundant bus stops now which are no longer in use, just because there is not really too much point in having them. Again, it's really just one of my pet peeves, to be honest, something that does tend to bug me every now and then. Okay, now we just need to go ahead and assign the trams, and then that's us pretty much sorted. So let's go ahead and jump in, let's get a tram depot, let's go ahead and rotate you round. Let's have you at this junction here. Let's go for, I think we're going to start off with Coburn, just because I feel this town could be quite reliant on trams, and that's 8 trams which we've got. So I've not actually named a line, but welcome to line 1. I don't know how I forgot to do that, because I'm really quite good at things here. So this is the TR. This is the town of Thax, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have a tram in this town. Alright, okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode, episode number 38 here. Quite happy with the progress that we've made all in all. I do think that Newton Abbot, for example, could benefit from a tram now. A lot of infrastructure changes do need to happen to benefit the Riviera project, but all in all, we're starting to see lots of passengers waiting, and in general passengers should move much faster going forward, just with the reduction of the buses, though again that'll take some time to change. As we can see here, lots of people going between Coburn and Hetton. 98's waiting to go ahead and use the Coburn to Hetton route up the hill, which is exciting. That's with this train which just left as well, actually, so interesting times nonetheless. This train's coming along with 132, so you can really see the impact. This station is much more busy than it ever has been before, to be honest, which kind of surprises me. I never thought it'd get that busy that quickly, and then with the introduction of the extended trams as well, that is good to see. I'm wondering if the underground has had any effect. If it's gone into a bit of better lease of life. Last time it was losing about 2 million, so it is still losing money, and it is still lacking on the passenger numbers, but there's still people using it. And I mean, really I'm wanting it just for that connection to the airport, to be honest. That is really what I am hoping it will do good. We are starting to see a decent amount of people come up this hill, which is good, and Hetton is slowly but surely getting popular, but I do really need to focus on other airspace as well. There's one person on there, one person waiting here, there is no one leaving on that plane, there's 6 people arriving on that plane, and there's no one on that plane currently, so all in all, Hetton to Kendal, it's struggling to say the least. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to do is we're going to wrap this episode up. Hope you have enjoyed it. Please leave a like rating. Let me go ahead and jump in here and just see how the planes are doing, really. It's something that I've been monitoring a lot, so as we can see, we're now only down to 2 routes which are in the profit, which is really disappointing. Very gutted about that. The MC Portishead, it's good, it's gone down in frequency, but also the passenger numbers have dropped quite a bit, so I'm really gutted about that. We're just generally struggling in there. We're not making too big a loss, but we're really not making too much of a profit either, which is surprising when you see all these passenger numbers, for example. Maybe I need to take an extra yak off, maybe I need to put more on. I'm not really at all sure what the best rate is for approximate annual throughput. There's not a lot, is there? Okay, so this is the amount of people, yeah. Annual throughput per station. I could maybe go ahead and reduce takeoff a plane on some of these routes, or maybe even downgrade. I don't know what's lower than these planes, to be honest. They are very slow though, that's the thing, the smaller you get. The Yak has got a small capacity, a low running cost, but it's really good speed. Whereas all these Boeing planes don't really go ahead and fill the gap, and then anything smaller is just a lot slower. But then it does have a lot lower running cost, but then you are gonna, I mean, people are probably less inclined to travel, just based upon the fact that the planes are gonna be a lot slower. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll continue this rant on in the next episode, so hope you have enjoyed. Please leave a like, rate, and subscribe if you are new around here. Go ahead and give me some more feedback in the comment section below. And that's all, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.